Each year at the LEAD conference, TED Magazine recognizes the best and the brightest young members of our supply chain as the winners of the 30 Under 35 Awards. Our first speaker this evening is Melissa Bucher, District Sales Vice President for Eaton and a former 30 Under 35 winner. Please join me in welcoming Melissa Bucher.
So that TED shot totally busts me that it's an old one because my hair is a lot longer. So it's about 4.5 years ago. So it's great to be here. Appreciate the invite. So as he said, I'm a 2015 30 Under 35. And tonight I want to talk about the 10 things that I've learned in the last 10 years in the industry. So I've been with Eaton for 10 years and all in the electrical industry. And you learn different things throughout, right? So I'm going to start the night out with one that's probably pretty relevant. Build your network. So you look around the room, right? There's a lot of top talent in here. Some of you are probably going to run your organization someday. Some maybe already are doing that. So make a connection with people and don't just go introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm Melissa. Go try to figure out a common connection because you never know throughout your career of where you're going to meet. So there's people that I've worked with, there's people that I've managed here, and so it's fun throughout the years to see where everybody's at. So the next one is number 9, be authentic. So be you. One of the things that I've learned that if you can bring your true self to work, that you're able to be more engaged, people trust you more. And so I have a funny story about this. You know, everybody has different weaknesses and different quirks, and when I first started the electrical industry, you walk into the office and everybody's wearing polos and slacks. And I'm like, okay, I've never even owned a polo, but let's do this. So for the first 4 years of my career, I think I wore my hair up in a ponytail because all the guys, I'm trying to look like, polo, slacks, and I thought to myself, probably save some money. My husband's probably happy with it, but, it's one of those things. If you want to come and when you see somebody wearing whatever they, a dress or whatever, everybody can come and be their authentic self. So another story with this is talking about your weaknesses. I have an area sales manager that absolutely loves spreadsheets, and I am not a spreadsheet person. So we work really well together because he is not the soft selling skills kind of person. So when we have situations where we have to balance each other, we do it really well. So be able to recognize that you can't be good at everything, right? So understand your weaknesses and be able to pair it with maybe somebody that's better at that. So the number 8 is find a reason to celebrate. So you never go into a party or something and you have somebody, you're celebrating a win, whether it's an order or a conversion or whatever it is, and people are sad. I mean, when you celebrate, people are happy and excited. It brings up morale. So I've really found over the years that there's 3 things that really help me celebrate. And the first one is birthday cards. So everybody in my district, I have 25 people is under my district. They get a birthday card from me every year. Now, truth be told, my admin helps me with this, so that whole soft skill, details, she helps me, but it's something special. The other thing I do is every year, or every service anniversary for all those 25 people, I have on my calendar. So each time they have a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, whatever it is, anniversary, I send them an email and I say, thank you for your service. Thank you for working for Eaton. And I CC their manager and my manager as well. So I wanted to give that exposure to everybody. The third one's my favorite. If you're in the office or if I'm in your office, we get birthday cake, right? We gather around and we sing happy birthday, and it's just something to do to kind of bring everybody's spirits up, right? Because sometimes the days are rough sometimes when you get on bid day and it's, you're grinding it out, you're trying to get this quote out. So anytime we can celebrate, it's good. And I've even picked up the phone and FaceTime a remote sales engineer, and they were like looking at me. They're like, I am not looking at the screen at all. So you never know. Number 7 is listen with the intent to learn, not to respond. This one was a tough one for me. Early in my career, I really had a hard time. I would get so excited about conversations, and when you're getting into these conversations, you end up interrupting people, and it's so rude. But that was not my intent at all. But something that I really picked up is really focusing on listening. And then when you do that, you're able to actually get more out of the conversation. So the other part of that is I was told, you have 2 of these and 1 of these, use them proportionally. So number 6 is find good mentors. If you don't understand a P&L, find somebody that knows how to do a P&L. Find a controller and get good at it. If you don't know how to manage people and you're in a management role, find somebody that's good at it. If there's a role that you want to be, if you want to be a lifetime, career salesman, or you want to be a vice president, or you want to be their CEO, figure out what it takes to be that, and then work with mentors to get you there. So it's more of a approach that it's a situational mentoring versus one mentor for everything. So number 5 is never stop learning. So one of the things I did a few years ago is I studied CEOs and what habits or daily routines that they did to be successful. I figure, they're at their A game, they're top of the company, and they should be doing the right things. So what can I pick up from that? So the first thing that I figured out, there was really 4 things that I implemented into my daily routine. The first one was, on average, a CEO will read 52 books a year. So for those of you doing the math, that's a book a week, right? So I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm reading 1 to 2 books maybe a year, probably could improve that. So I started reading at night, and that really seemed to help. The second one, they work out daily. How many of you work out? Okay, so how many triathletes do we have in the house? Anybody? Oh, wait, right there. So he's probably going to be the one doing the 5K on Friday is going to be your warm-up, right? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. How about CrossFitters? Any CrossFitters in the room? Oh, right there. So you're going to be doing this. You're probably going to win, and then you're going to be doing 100 burpees, right? Okay, here's my favorite one. Does anybody ride dirt bikes here? Anybody? You do too? We're going to really talk. So did you see what I did there? I tried to figure out who I'm going to connect with later on the things that I've done over the last 10 years, and now I have a common theme. So our network, we're going to talk about dirt bikes. All right? So the third thing that they do is practice gratitude, which was kind of interesting to me because I've always been a very thankful person and appreciative. But what they are doing is they're journaling about it. So taking 3 things every morning, what you're grateful for, 3 things what you're grateful for every night. So I've tried to implement this, the whole journaling and remembering the journal when you travel. That didn't work for me. So every morning what I do is I take out my phone, I get on an app, OneNote, and I do 3 things that I'm grateful for. And the reason that's important is it gets you in the right mindset for that day. So if you can go in and when you're thinking of things that you're grateful for, you're thinking positively. So if you're going into the office and that starts your day off positive, no matter what happens, you started that day off right. And the 4th thing that they do, that this one's going to probably sound out there, and I'm from Nebraska, so it totally did, was meditate. And so I didn't really understand that. My vision of meditating is like what I've always known as it sitting on a mat, and I was like, I don't know, I'm like type A, there's no way that I can sit still for 10 minutes. But I actually downloaded an app called Headspace, and I did the 30-day fundamentals for it. And what it does is it puts yourself, so I noticed that my stress levels were down, and I also noticed that I was able to sleep better. So for me, I'm thinking that CEO's job's probably pretty stressful, so it's a way to manage stress, and I would highly recommend it. So one of the things I've always thought that you train your body, right? But why not train your mind? So number 4, be the best at what you do. So if you're a salesman, if you're a manager, whatever you're doing, be the best at it. Make an impact. There's oftentimes I have people come up to me and ask me for coaching and say, okay, Melissa, I'm at 18 months in my career, I've got my MBA done, and I'm looking for this next role. And I literally had the conversation with somebody on the phone, and I said, okay, so what have you accomplished in this role? And on the other line, it's like silent. And I'm like, okay, that's not a good sign. So focus on making that impact. If you work hard, do the rise and grind, the opportunities will come to you. So the number 3 is change is good. We've seen a lot of change over the years. Our industry is changing, right? So embrace it, seek it. So we have a lot of knowledge that it's probably going to retire in the next maybe 5 years. How do we take that and then take what's happening with change and make our industry better? So you think about where we were 10 years ago. There was no Ubers, there was no Airbnbs. The Amazon was, I don't know if it was there yet, but I didn't know about it yet. But think about the things that you can do to impact the industry by embracing change. Every time you have your company launches a new CRM, instead of being like, oh, this is another thing I have to do, or a new tool, LinkedIn, or whatever it is, embrace it. Be able to use it, get good at the tools, and utilize them. So number 2 is don't be afraid to fail. This one's kind of a scary one. When you think of failure, it's hard sometimes. So when you fail, get back up and try it again, right? And be resilient, bounce back quickly. So has anybody heard of Amazon destinations? Okay. Or Amazon auctions? What about, anybody have the Amazon Fire Phone? Okay, those were all failures that Jeff Bezos tried to do. But how many people have Prime? Right? And what was it this week? Prime Day. So I love Prime, and so think about all the things that Jeff and his company had to do prior to getting something that really worked. So be okay with failing, but learn from it. So there's nothing worse than if I give an employee some rope and they hang themselves and you talk about it and then they go do it again. So if you're that person, then that's the failing is good, but you need to learn from it. So the other part of that, if you're a manager in the room, make it a safe spot for your team to be able to fail, right? Because when you're able to go and you feel like, okay, I can try new things, that's where innovation happens. So the final one is my favorite, and it's all about the people. If you know me, I'm really focused on the people. I like to cultivate leaders, try to improve their lives, and really try to empower people. So one of the things I like to do is help people believe in the things, I've had multiple people say, hey, Melissa, you helped me believe in something that I never thought I could do. So I'll tell you an example of this. We had an intern when I was in Denver, and I was a sales engineer at the time, and you get then, hey, Melissa, you're going to be assignment manager of an intern, and I'm like, yay, it's I got a job to do. I've got sale, lots going on with my sales job. So I said, okay. She comes in, and I said, what do you want to learn this summer? And she said, I want to learn to sell. I'm like, okay, I kind of like this. So spent the summer with her, and I made it a spot where she could go in and fail and try to go pitch a new product. And after the summer, she really actually learned how to sell, and it was so much fun to see. So it was really cool to see that she was one of the top interns in her class, and it's fun to see when she went on to be a sales engineer, she was one of the top sales engineers because she's exceeding her goal. Now she's in a product line doing so well. So I get more out of that. That was kind of a career-changing moment for me, like, hey, I kind of like being a manager. Like, this is a good thing. So everybody has their thing, right? But if you invest in yourself, you'll make your team better, right? So if you invest in your team, in your company, you're going to make this industry better. And if you invest in your friends and family, you're going to make this world a better place, right? So my question to you is what's your legacy going to be? Are you going to be the sales engineer that's too big, or the manager that's so busy and can't help anybody? Or are you going to be that manager or salesperson that invests in somebody and takes them to the next level? And I'm going to end with my favorite quote by Maya Angelou. So people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you.